Oat shows the first small sign of improvement, and Boat's reaction brings fans worldwide to tears. The silence inside Bangkok's Siriraj hospital had become a language of its own. Every beep of a monitor, every footstep down the hall, every sigh from family members felt like part of an unspoken prayer. But today, for the first time since the tragic boating accident that left Thai actor Siraphat at Wattanachai in critical condition, that silence was broken by a single, miraculous moment. He moved. It was small, almost invisible to the untrained eye, but to the people who had not left his side for days, it felt like a thunderclap of hope. Oat, still wrapped in tubes and surrounded by machines, gently lifted 2 fingers when his mother whispered his name. Then, faintly, he blinked. Hold on tight, C-drama family. The world of your favorite celebrities is unfolding before your eyes, and every moment is more breathtaking than the last. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications right now, because trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming next. For a few seconds, the room froze. The doctor looked up, stunned. Nurses began to cry. His mother clutched his hand to her chest, whispering over and over, "You heard me, you really heard me." That single motion, that fragile flicker of awareness, traveled across the hospital corridors and, within minutes, across the world. News outlets confirmed what fans had been praying for all week. Oat had shown his first sign of improvement. Outside the hospital, the crowd of fans that had been camping for days broke into sobs and cheers. Some fell to their knees in gratitude, while others held up photos of Oat with handwritten words of love. "You promised to smile again. Keep your promise." But what truly shattered hearts worldwide was not just Oat's tiny miracle, it was boatyongyut's reaction. Boat, Oat's longtime best friend, co-star, and the man who had stayed in the hospital's waiting room since the night of the accident, had been a pillar of quiet strength through the chaos. Fans had seen him at the entrance, eyes swollen from sleepless nights, head bowed in prayer. He had refused interviews, refused publicity. He only said, "I'll leave when he wakes up." And now, he finally got what he had been waiting for. When a nurse quietly walked into the waiting area and said, "He moved," Boat reportedly froze in disbelief. Witnesses say he covered his face with both hands, as if trying to stop the flood of emotion building inside him. Then, without a word, he walked quickly down the hall toward Oat's room. Moments later, security cameras caught it, Boat standing by the ICU window, tears streaming down his face as he pressed his palm to the glass. His lips moved in silence, but those nearby said they could read the words clearly, "You did it, my brother." That image, a single man crying quietly outside a hospital window, became the photograph of the moment. Within hours, it went viral. Fans described it as the most heartbreaking and beautiful thing we've ever seen. Hashtags like #OatandBoat forever, #HeMoved, and #Brothers by Heart flooded social media. Thousands of fans began sharing clips from their past projects together, laughing between takes, teasing each other during interviews, joking about their friendship that felt stronger than family. And through it all, the emotional thread remained the same: love, brotherhood, and hope. Oat and Boat's friendship has always been more than entertainment. Since their breakout drama 5 years ago, they've become a symbol of loyalty and genuine connection in an industry often criticized for superficial bonds. Viewers have seen them share every milestone, from awards and travel vlogs to quiet birthday posts that always ended with Boat calling him, "my troublemaker, my light." So when the accident happened, the first thing Boat did was drop everything, his schedule, his appearances, his personal commitments, and rush to the river that same night. Eyewitnesses recall him arriving barefoot, running toward the rescue team, shouting Oat's name into the darkness. Since then, he hadn't left. Not even once. And now, after 6 long days of uncertainty, his best friend had finally stirred. Later that evening, Boat posted a short message on Instagram, no hashtags, no photo of himself, just a simple black screen with white text that read, "He heard me. That's all I needed." Within minutes, the post had over 3 million reactions. Celebrities, fans, and even journalists left comments filled with tears and prayer emojis. One user wrote, "This is not just friendship. This is faith in human form." At the hospital, doctors confirmed that Oat's condition had shown positive neurological response, meaning that his brain activity was reacting to stimuli. It's still very early, one doctor said carefully. But this is the first real sign that he's fighting his way back. Fans clung to those words, he's fighting his way back. That night, something extraordinary happened outside the hospital. Thousands of fans gathered again, but this time, it wasn't in mourning. They came carrying candles, guitars, and handwritten notes. One by one, they began to sing softly, Oat's favorite song from one of his dramas, Hold On To Me. Their voices floated up toward the hospital windows, soft and trembling, but strong enough to reach the ICU floor where Oat rested. Boat stepped out to the balcony, eyes glistening, and waved once toward the crowd. The response was immediate, hundreds of voices shouting, We love you, Oat. He smiled weakly, mouthed thank you, then turned back inside. Behind those walls, Oat remained fragile, still unable to speak or move freely. But the monitors told a story of their own. His heartbeat, once erratic, had steadied. His breathing had improved. His fingers, still weak, had twitched again when Boat whispered something at his bedside. No one could hear exactly what he said, but those who saw the scene would never forget it. Boat leaned close, his hand resting over Oat's, and whispered words that carried the weight of everything they'd survived together. You're not alone. I'm right here. I always have been. And for just a moment, just one, Oat's lips trembled, the faintest shadow of a smile appearing on his face. The nurses gasped. His mother began to sob. And Boat, the man who had refused to leave that hospital, sank to his knees, overcome by tears. Outside, as news spread that Oat had smiled, fans lit lanterns again along the river where the tragedy began. This time, it wasn't for grief. It was for gratitude. Gratitude for a small sign. Gratitude for a friendship that defied despair. Gratitude for the simple, breathtaking fact that life, even after shattering darkness, can still find a way to return. And as the night settled over Bangkok, the city that had spent a week holding its breath could finally exhale. Because somewhere inside a white hospital room, under the soft hum of machines and the quiet rhythm of love, Oat was coming back to the world, one heartbeat, one blink, one smile at a time. The morning sun broke gently over Bangkok, turning the windows of Siriraj Hospital into mirrors of gold. For days, the city had been living on whispers, updates spoken in hushed tones, cautious words from doctors, and the unyielding hope of millions. But that morning, as dawn poured through the blinds of the ICU, something happened that no one dared to dream too soon. Oat opened his eyes. It wasn't dramatic, not at first. A slow, fragile motion. A flutter of lashes. The faintest shift of consciousness. His eyes blinked once, twice, adjusting to the soft white light that bathed his hospital room. The nurse on duty froze. Then, her voice broke through the silence, trembling, almost unbelieving. He's awake. He's really awake. Within moments, chaos erupted in the best way possible. Doctors rushed in. Machines beeped faster, tracking the rise in his heart rate. Nurses whispered prayers as they checked his vitals. And outside, just beyond the glass door, Oat's mother pressed both hands to her mouth, tears spilling down her face as she whispered his childhood nickname over and over. The miracle they had prayed for was finally here. When Boat arrived, still in the same worn hoodie he'd been wearing for nearly a week, he ran down the corridor the moment he heard the news. Cameras caught the scene, his face pale with disbelief, his eyes glistening as he nearly tripped over his own steps. He didn't care about the cameras. He didn't care about the journalists or the flashing lights. All he cared about was the boy he called his brother. When he reached the room, the doctor nodded softly, stepping aside. Boat walked in slowly, his hands shaking. Oat's eyes were open now, hazy, weak, confused, but alive. The machines around him hummed quietly. His face was pale, his lips dry, but that spark, that unmistakable light that fans knew from his smile, flickered faintly in his gaze. Boat took his hand. For a moment, neither spoke. The world outside that hospital room faded away. There were no headlines, no fans, no noise. Just two friends, one clinging to life, the other clinging to faith. Then, in the faintest whisper, Oat's lips moved. His voice, soft as a breath, cracked the silence. You didn't leave. Boat's eyes filled instantly. He let out a trembling laugh through his tears and gripped his friend's hand tighter. I told you I wouldn't, he said. Not until you looked at me again. It was the kind of exchange that didn't need volume, it carried its own gravity, its own sacredness. The room itself seemed to breathe.